Hello everyone, it's Beth and welcome back to another video. In this video I wanted to talk a little bit about my changing perceptions of the gods and how it's okay if you during the course of your path find your own perceptions changing. Because if we look back at history and we look at how some of the gods that we worship today were worshipped over time, we can see that the perceptions of ancient pagans towards these gods also changed over time. One example I can think of offhand is Poseidon in archaic Greece, in Crete and in Mycenae. There were no three brothers in the Greek pantheon. There was just Poseidon. His name means husband of the earth, and he was the husband of the earth mother, Demeter, the mother. And he was represented as a god of the land, the sea, and the skies. He was a storm god. He was a god of life and death. So as you can see, he absorbed all the qualities of what we know today as the three brothers of Zeus, Poseidon, and Hades at the top of the Greek pantheon. And that was true until invaders came in bringing their own gods. And then his role changed, and we had the brothers, and we began to have a more involved pantheon around him. So that's just one example. There are many. Isis in Egypt is another one. She originally was a goddess of the sun and of raptors, and a funerary goddess for the most part, who helps the pharaoh transition into his afterlife after death. But over time she evolved into more of an all-mother type role. Someone who was there for everyone and not just the king. She evolved into more of a moon goddess, and eventually even took on some ocean-related roles by the time of the Ptolemies in Hellenistic Egypt. So these are two examples. These are just one deity, but over time their role shifted. And during your own lifetime, I think the same can be said, that the role of a deity in your life can shift. That's happened to me. Some of you who might have been following me for a while know that for over a decade I was almost solely devoted to the Norse god Odin, and his relationship with me and his place in my life, well, he still has a very important place in my life, but it has shifted over the years. It has changed, and that it can be a difficult thing, and sometimes we can look at that while it's going on and say, oh, this god is turning their back on me. But I wanted to just present the possibility that instead they might be asking you to see them a little differently, or consider another side of their nature, or maybe consider yourself a little differently. Look at yourself from a different perspective. They might be trying to bring in something new that will enrich your practice or shift you down a new road entirely. And I probably have more to say on this. When I was doing my blog, The Witch of the North, for many years, I mostly talked about the gods and my relationship with them. And I was a hard polytheist in those days, which means, for those of you who may not know, that means that you believe in the gods as distinct beings, very distinct from each other. But like I said a minute ago with the story about Poseidon, sometimes you find out that hasn't been the case. And then it muddies your vision a little bit. It makes things a little more fluid, and you might have to think it over again. I mean, I'm not saying you can't be a hard polytheist, but in my case, that conviction of the gods as separate and distinct beings has gotten shaken a little bit over time by the fact that I've learned these new things and my experiences have changed. And I wouldn't say I'm completely a soft polytheist now, but it's soft around the edges. Sometimes the gods, I believe, want you to treat them as distinct beings, and sometimes they're kind of iffy on it. They're kind of yes/no about it. They might be, yes, I am Poseidon, but sometimes I'm also Zeus, for example. That has happened. And that can happen. And it's something that, yes, you should look at you should treat with, apply your brain to it, Critical thinking is the term I'm looking for. um, but at the same time, don't drag your heels too hard if you feel like that's the direction you're being led to explore in. You're being led to widen your view a little bit, because tunnel vision is not always the best thing. And sometimes they will, I believe, shock us out of that if we aren't willing to relax our vision, our viewpoint on our own. And that's what I had to say for now on this. I am sure that I will have more to say in the future. And for now, though, blessed be.